In today's video, let us learn high yield points and important MCQs in reference to low birth weight babies. Next question is, a preterm infant is defined as an infant with gestational age of less than 35 weeks, less than 28 weeks, less than 36 weeks, or less than 37 weeks. Let's learn the definition of prematurity. Now, gestation refers to the period between conception and birth, which typically lasts for 40 weeks. If the baby is born before 37 completed week, we call it preterm babies. And if the babies are born after 42 weeks of gestation, they are called postterm babies. When the baby is born before 37 completed weeks of gestation, it is called prematurity. But if it is less than 28 weeks of gestation, then it is called extremely preterm babies. If it is between 28 and 32 weeks, it is called very preterm. And if it is between 32 to 37 weeks of gestation, it is called moderate to late preterm. So correct answer to this question is option D, less than 37 weeks. The first question is, low birth weight infants weigh. Options are less than 2500 grams, less than 1500 grams, less than 2200 grams, or less than 2000 grams. So to know the answer to this question, we should first understand definition of low birth weight. Average Indian baby birth weight is 2.8 kilogram. We do not consider gestational age when we are classifying low birth weight babies. If the baby's weight is less than 2500 grams, we call it low birth weight. If it is less than 1500 grams, it is very low birth weight. And if it is less than 1000 grams, it is called extremely very low birth weight babies. So low birth weight babies could be either preterm babies, that is depending on the gestational age. If it is less than 37 completed weeks, then it is called preterm babies. And if the baby's birth weight according to the gestational age is below the 10th centile, then we call it small for date. It can also contribute to a range of poor health outcomes. For example, it is closely associated with fetal and neonatal mortality and morbidity, inhibited growth development, and non-communicable disease in later life. Low birth weight infants are about 20 times more likely to die than heavier infants. At a population level, low birth weight is a very powerful public health indicator suggestive of maternal nutrition, maternal health, healthcare during antenatal period, and poverty. So correct answer to our question is option A, less than 2500 grams. Next question is, infants that are small for gestational age have a birth weight that falls below 90th centile, between 10th and 90th centile, below 10th centile, or below 3rd centile. To know the answer to this question, we should first know the definition of small for gestational age babies. Gestation refers to the period between conception and birth, which typically lasts for 40 weeks. On the other hand, gestational age is a term used to describe a newborn based on their physical and neuromuscular characteristic. Physical characteristic include skin, lanugo, plantar clesis, areola, ear, and genitals. And in neuromuscular characteristic, it includes a Ballard scoring. Now, based on a gestational age and infant's birth weight, we can determine birth weight percentile. This considered normal or appropriate when the value is between 10th and 90th centile. We call these babies whose weight are falling in this centiles appropriate for gestational age. On the other hand, small for gestational age is a medical term used to describe a neonate with a birth weight below the 10th centile of gestational age, and they are at great risk of complications. So correct answer to this question is option C, below 10th centile. Next MCQ is, which of the following is true for SGA and IUGR babies? A. SGA defines as birth weight less than 3rd centile. All IUGR babies are not SGA. A. SGA is always pathological, or SGA is synonym for IUGR. So let's learn about IUGR first. Question arises, small for date and IUGR, are they same or are they different? The term IUGR and SGA have been used synonymously in medical literature, but there exists small difference between the two. IUGR is also called fetal growth restriction. It is a clinical definition and applies to neonate born with clinical feature of malnutrition and in utero growth retardation, irrespective of their birth weight percentile. Small for date babies, it's a one-time measurement and it is a statistical definition, while measurement is based on the changes in growth over time and it is clinical definition. Small for date take into consideration birth weight without taking any consideration of the in utero and physical characteristic at birth. On the other hand, clinical features of malnutrition and in utero growth retardation are taken into the consideration for IUGR babies irrespective of their weight percentile. Small for date, their birth weight is always lower than normal, while in IUGR, birth weight is not always, but sometimes they are lower than normal. In small for date, it's not always pathological. Sometimes the cause is small sized mother, while in IUGR, it is always pathological. So, all small for date babies are not IUGR. Some of them are because of small mothers, because genetically they are small, and all IUGRs are not SGAs. Some of the IUGR babies may also have a normal birth weight. So, correct answer to our question is all IUGR babies are not SGA. Rest all are incorrect. The first is birth weight less than 3rd centile, it is less than 10th centile. SGA is not always pathological, as we discussed, and SGA is not a synonyms for IUGR. Next MCQ is infants that are born preterm have increased incidence of meconium aspiration syndrome, wasting, hypothermia, or pyrexia. Let us learn short-term complication which is seen in preterm babies. These are all 3-letter words. So you can remember like this and start from the top and include all the systems like CNS, respiratory system, cardiovascular system, and gastrointestinal system. So in central nervous system, remember 2 complication: retinopathy of prematurity and intravascular hemorrhage. In respiratory system, hyaline membrane disease due to lack of surfactant and apnea of prematurity. Cardiovascular system, patent ductus arteriosus and shock. And in GIT, it is necrotizing enterocolitis. There are a couple of other complications which has to be remembered: hypoglycemia, hypothermia. They are more prone to have sepsis, jaundice, and anemia. Now back to our question. So first option is meconium aspiration syndrome. Preterm babies will never have meconium aspiration syndrome as their GITs are not mature enough to expel meconium, as they are having ineffective peristalsis. Passage of meconium in a preterm is never normal and it indicates infection. So option A is not correct. Wasting is seen in intrauterine growth restriction. Hypothermia is a correct option and fever is not seen in a preterm babies. So correct answer to this question is option C, hypothermia. Intrauterine growth restricted babies are at increased risk of birth trauma, hyaline membrane disease, hypoglycemia, or pulmonary hypoplasia. Let's learn complications associated with IUGR babies. There are higher chances of severe birth asphyxia or perinatal asphyxia, pulmonary hemorrhage, meconium aspiration syndrome, persistent pulmonary hypertension is also associated with IUGR babies, necrotizing enterocolitis, hypoglycemia, hypothermia, infection, jaundice, and polycythemia. So back to our question, birth trauma. Birth trauma is associated with large for date babies, not associated with IUGR babies. Second is hyaline membrane disease. IUGR babies are often stressed and the resulting cortisol secretion leads to lung maturation and there are less chances of hyaline membrane disease. Hypoglycemia is often seen in intrauterine growth restricted babies, while pulmonary hypoplasia birth defect that is associated with congenital diaphragmatic hernia and Potter syndrome and other causes. Hence, the correct answer to this question is option C, hypoglycemia. What is the name given to the hypothesis that shows relationship between small birth weight and the subsequent risk of type 2 diabetes mellitus, insulin resistance, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease and stroke? Option is B, mu hypothesis, Barker's hypothesis, X factor, and De Leon hypothesis. Epidemiologist David Barker explained on the fetal origin of the adult disease. He proposed the roots of cardiovascular disease lay in undernutrition. He suggested that when fetus are exposed to adverse maternal environment and placental physiology, they learn to adapt to this adverse environment by permanently programming postnatal structure and physiology. It will really increase their chances of survival, but it will also increase the risk of adult disease. The relationship is thought to be mediated by insulin-like growth factor 2. Abnormal insulin-like growth factor 2 is associated with type 2 diabetes mellitus. Reduced vascularity will cause hypertension and reduced number of nephron is associated with cardiovascular disease such as stroke. So correct answer to this question is option B, Barker's hypothesis. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed and learned well. If you like the video, please comment, share, and let me know what other topics you would like to learn from me. Till that time, take care of yourself, study hard, study smart. Bye.